Hello everyone, welcome to Triaright. This is back 365. Myself Sujit. So in this session, we're going to see some different method that's available in case of our multithreading. So in the previous session, we had tried to take this one for our understanding our different type of method. Okay, so the first method for this session will be is alive. Okay, what is the use case of this is alive? We'll be saying that this method is used to find the thread is running at the particular time or not, or we can say that this method return the data in the form of our boolean. Now if I'm just try to use this is alive, how we can check this one? Okay, so here if I'm using t1 dot is alive, okay, because this is a method. So after this one I'm just try to print this one. So guys, just see now if I'm just try to run this one, because this will saying that this method is used to check whether this method is thread is running or not. This method gives the boolean value in the true or false. Okay, now if I'm just try to print this one so that you can get that output, because whenever you want to run that things, you need to see the output at that time. You need to print. If you are without printing the value, it will be not showing that particular thing. If you see here previously, whenever I'm just trying to use the threading, that is called our is alive method. So at that time after hello, it will be not printing anything. But after I'm using the print statement, after hello, it will be print true, means still our threading will be running, because from our T1 all the things are not completing. Now if I'm just try to print after each and everything will be completing, still the threading will be complete or not, it will be give me the answer in the form of our boolean value. So if you see here also, after the things will be completed, if it will be saying that true, means our threading will be not completed, means we can say that there might be chances that you can increase our looping condition. But as of now we have only 6, but there might be chances that you can increase also. That's why here it will be tells the same thing. Okay, now the next method will be called our active count. What is the use of this active count? Active count is nothing but it is gives the number of thread that's run currently. Okay, now if I'm just try to use that particular thing, so here I'm just try to use active count. Okay, so here I'm just trying to print t1 dot active count. Okay, how to use this active count also, it will be a benefits to know that, because in the interview also they're going to ask how to find active count of our threading with a example, with a example, because in the interview there might be chance they will be give a scenario, then you can see how the active count will needs to be print. Okay, so at that time if you want to get this active count, then you need to print a new statement to particular to see that, because the threading will be not seeing directly. You need to use your threading, because we are initialize all the thing in our threading. Now if I'm just try to print the active threading, or we can say that active count, then only in that case it will be showing that 3 times. Okay, why it will be showing the 3 times? Because we have only 2, but still it will be give me 3 times, because here also we are using a threading, because threading is nothing but it is a tags only, means it will be used to tags, or we can say that give some tags to our code. Okay, that's why here it will be specifying that here it will be we are using 3 times. This is the main thing we are I'm trying to understand you in this case. Okay, now the next method, or we can say that the last method, will be join. What is the use case of this join method? So it is used to stop the execution of thread if there is no statement to execute. Means if I'm using this threading, it will needs to be stopped. Okay, how to do that? I'm just try to comment the is alive and count. Okay, now here I'm just try to use t1 dot join, because every time if you see after I'm starting, I'll not end that particular thing. Now if I'm just try to use the join, then by the help of this join we can get that particular thing that is called, or it is used to stop the execution. Now if you see after I'm running start t1 dot, means the threading will be start T1 and T2. After that, after every statement will be completing. Again, if I'm just try to check this one, it will be still aliving or not. Now, if I'm just try to run this one, at that time, the output, or we can say that the Boolean value of our is alive will be giving you the false. But before we are not using this join, at that time here it will be give me the answer in the form of our true, because we are not finishing all the threading. That's why here it will be showing that true. But now if I'm just try to use the join, in this case it will be not showing that particular thing. If you see here also, here it will be give me false, but in this case it will be give me true, because we are not stop. If you want to stop the kernel, or we can say that if you want to stop the threading, you need to use both the things. Okay, now we are just trying to write all the theoretical point that we are discussing. So the first one called our is alive. Okay, what is the use case of this is alive? So this method is used to, okay, this method is used to check whether the method are running or not. Means if you want to check whether it will be running or not, at that time we can use that particular thing to check that particular thing. Okay, means by the help of this one we can get both the things will be correcting the threading. Means as of now we are using two kernel, or we can say that two threading. That's why here it will be easy to get that. But whenever we are using 5 kernels, 6 kernels, so at that time it will be getting difficult to find that. At that time we can use the is alive to check that particular thing. Okay, so this method, okay, this method give the output, okay, give the output in the form of the Boolean value. Boolean value in the case of our either true or false in the, okay. Now the next method will be active count. Okay, what is the use of this active count? Now I just try to see. So active count says that it gives, okay, it gives the number of threads running currently, because at that time how many threads are running. To check that things we are using this active count. Then the last method for this session will be join. What is the use of this join? So here it will be saying that gives the number of, okay, gives the number of threads, okay, running, gives the number of threads running currently. Okay, currently how many are gives. Then if you want to stop, it will give the number of threads currently running currently, and to stop that things, okay, it will be give that particular thing. Means we can say that it will be stop the things. By the help of our join method we can get that particular thing. Okay, now if I'm just try to add one more last one called our enumerate. What is called our enumerate? Okay, so here I'm just trying to write, then only I'm just trying to understand what is called our enumerate, because we know that enumerate also will be a function, but how the method will be going to work in case of our multi-threading. Here it will be saying that this method is give the list of threads which are running in the file. It will be gives how many time it will be gives. Okay, if you want to check also by the help of our threading dot enumerate, you can get like our, if you want to print our threading, okay, just a second, whenever we are just try to check our active count. Okay, so now if you want to check the same thing, this is called our enumerate. So enumerate function will be different, and the enumerate that's available in this multi-threading also it will be different. Okay, now if I'm just try to enumerate, okay, so guys just see, now if you want to run this one, so here it will be specifying that how many threads that's available. So here if you see, the main thread will be starting 16 80, and the second function will be starting 19248. Okay, so it will be tell that this method is give the list of threads. Okay, so if you see also, it will be gives the output in the form of our list only. Okay, so this is all about our threading that's available in case of our Python. Okay, now I'm just trying to add a one more example to understand this thing. Okay, by the help of our finding the time count. Okay, if you want to get the time count, how many time this threading will be taking, if somebody will be asked that this will be taking how many time, because the thread will be running concurrently, or we can say that simultaneously. So if somebody asks that how many time our threading will be taking, so at that time you can use our one variable that is called our time one to store that. So how to count? So here you need to write time dot, okay, time. From the time module we need to import this time. Okay, now here I am using time 2. Okay, so here I am using time 2 equal to time dot time. Then here I'm just trying to use both the things to subtract that particular thing. Okay, so how to use the, so time 1, okay, time 1 minus time 2. Okay, now if I'm just trying to run this one, okay, so make sure that you need to stop that particular thing, because after it will be starting we need to stop the things. If you are not stopping, then how it will be finding the count value? Okay, that's why we need to stop, then only we can get that how many time it will be take. Okay, so the time difference between our time 1 to time 2, because we are using get sleep condition, that's why here it will be specifying -1 second. Okay, if you want to don't use the time sleep here, I'm just trying to comment here. Okay, so guys, just see the time difference then. Okay, because here we are not using any time concept, that's why here it will be give me -2 second. If I'm using a time sleep, that's why it will be taking -1, because here we are using -1. Now the time sleep, if I'm taking in the second thing, so time dot sleep, here I'm trying to take 2. Okay, means 2 second of break. After that it needs to be print. So first it will be printing all the hello, first 3 hello, then bye. After printing 1 bye, it needs to be stopped, because we are giving the time sleep equal to 2. Okay, it will be stopped and it will be telling the time difference between our two things, that is called our threading 1 and our threading 2. So if in the interview they're going to ask you if you are using this, then in which cases we are just try to use. So at that time, if you want to tell in your interview, I want to give you some theoretical point. Okay, so when to use multi-threading. Okay, so at that time you can say, okay, so the first one called our reading and writing. Okay, so here you need to tell reading and writing. Okay, reading and writing files at a time. Okay, whenever you want to read and write the file, whenever we are just trying to discussing our file handling concept also, we are just trying to performing the reading or writing. At that time, we can use this multi-threading by importing our threading module. Okay, now the next one called our making multiple API. Okay, making multiple API call at the same time. At the same time, if you want to make our API call, API is nothing but application interface, application programming interface. If you want to call our multiple API at a time, then you can use our multi-threading. Okay, also it will be good for our web scraping also. Okay, so here the next point, web scraping. Okay, web scraping multiple, okay, web scraping multiple pages, from pages we can use that particular thing. So that's all for this session. Thanks for watching Triaright.